everyone, welcome to part 2 of this video from Rita Berman's Asian book. We are doing these pretty flowers that she's drawn for us using the Faber Castell Classic colour pencils from the red box. I just need to stop the video and note down which colours I used in the last video because I've forgotten to do that. I'll be back. Right, that is done. Now I am trying a different lighting again for this video. I don't think it's working so well. So I opened my blind for this video. The last one I had it closed, and I think this is making my page look a bit grayer, but I'm not sure. Until I edit, I won't really know. And when we come in close, it often changes the light. It's making it brighter right away. I can see my camera adjusts. So I don't know whether it's going to be that crucial or not. We'll find out. I'll find out when I edit. But let's get going with some colouring. So I've got this little one here. I'm just going to get going. I'm going to try and use colours that I didn't use last time, just so that we try out most of them. I can't get it out of the pencil case though. So this is the 391, and let's just get going. I think I'm going to just use the one colour for this one because it's quite small. So off we go. So I've just come back from descaling my kettle, and I know you will all be tuning in just to find out all about my kettle, because you know you're not interested in the colouring, you just want to know about the kettle, don't you? Well, there is a tale. There is quite the tale. Well, the descaling bag that I used said fill your kettle half with water, boil it, and then put the bag in and leave it in for 25 minutes. So that's exactly what I did. So when I came back, the bag had done it. I tipped the kettle out and loads of blue water came out of my kettle. Blue water. So that's like, ugh. Okay, so fair enough, blue water. Okay. And then I had a look. And because I'd only descaled it halfway, which is what the instructions had told me, there was still a bit. I'm just picking. Let me just pick a colour. This one. This is the 337. And I'm going to use this for this little hidden bit under there. We're going to do the same as we did for this one, so just the one colour. So the reason for descaling it was that the bit where you read the levels, you know, their set will tell you minimum 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, that sort of thing on there, was really hard to see. So where the descaler had been, it had cleared off that part, but because it had only gone halfway up, should I colour that bit in purple? I think I will. Then there was a bit of it that was still hadn't cleared off, so I stuck my finger in the kettle and rubbed it to see whether I could get off what was there. Yes, I could. It was literally black, and I looked inside the kettle and there was a little rim of dirt which hadn't come off because the descaler hadn't gone over that bit, fair enough, and it was just black, and I rubbed it around with some wet kitchen towel and got off all this black. It's like, ugh. I haven't done the centre of this flower, have I? I think I might just go for this colour. 383, we've used all the yellows anyway. And I'm just going to use the one colour. Lots on the outside. Just fade into the middle. So that was pretty gross. But fortunately it's now gone. So I suppose that's a good thing. This is the 316. I'm going to do this daisy. So again, it looks like these two. This one. And this one, so you could do them the same, but I decided that I prefer to do everything different rather than to do little bits the same through. Sometimes I do that, like I might have done that one the same as this one, but I just wanted them all different. There's no rhyme or reason. It's a weird phrase, isn't it? Rhyme. Why would there be a rhyme? There'd be a reason. Anyway, our phrases are very strange. Also regional. Even though we're not a huge country, we still have a lot of regional phrases, which is quite interesting, and dialects and accents and all that going on. I think most countries, all countries would, you know. And I think that's where it becomes quite tricky when you learn a foreign language and then you go to a certain area and they don't use that word or that way of saying it or that sort of thing. I mean, obviously you can make yourself understood, but you might sound a little odd or silly. I know my second cousin, yeah, my cousin's son, he's married to a Korean, and he went over to Korea to meet his in-laws, as you do, and he made a few mistakes with language. He tried to speak 309. He tried to speak Korean. He knows some. And he made a really big mistake with his father-in-law-to-be at the time, and said something really offensive because he used slightly the wrong, I don't think it was a wrong word, I think it was either a word combination or a way of saying it, accenting the wrong thing or something like that. And rather than saying what he intended to say, he just said something hugely offensive. But fortunately, his in-laws were had a good sense of humour, and I think they just respected the fact that he was trying, and they all had a good laugh. So that was good, and I think most people would be the same. I always have a great admiration for anyone that has English as their, isn't a native English speaker but can speak English really well. I'm like, that's amazing. Even if you make mistakes, I'm actually going to continue using this pencil, the 3009, for the centre, and I just think it's amazing. And I have, yeah, as I say, a great admiration for anyone that tries really hard to do that, because it's not easy. Our language is quite difficult. Right, let's grab this pencil. This is the 328. I don't think I've used this yet. I'm going to try and use them all. Although they're browns, I might not, I don't know. Maybe not the brown. Well, I could use some for flower centres, couldn't I? This is very dark, isn't it? Really intense. I'm not pressing mega hard. It's a very, very intense shade. I'm actually going to use it for the whole thing because I'm left it too late to fade. Yeah, so because I'm so rubbish at language, I think my memory isn't brilliant, so I always struggle to remember all the vocab. There are certain words that have stuck in my head from learning languages. La gomme, for example. Anyone? It's French for the rubber or eraser. Le stylo. I think it's pen. I don't think it's pencil. I think it's pen. No, now I'm la maison, le jardin, le chat. It's dog. What's dog? That was cat. Le chat. I can't remember. What's mother and father? I'm going to just use this to make a lighter centre like that, because it looks to me like these are like new petals waiting to open. A bit dark in the middle. I can't remember dog. And Frau. No, that's German. Going to German there. Apparently my brain wants to speak some German. I'm better at German. I was. I don't know if I am now. Because my boys studied French at school, and I helped them a bit. This is 354. And so it brought back some of my memories of French, whereas I haven't had to practice my German for a long time. So I did French for 3 years, and I did German for 3 years. So I suppose I should have a similar knowledge, but I don't know if I do. There. This is 307. What German do I remember? Wo ist der Rathaus? Where is the town hall? Very useful. I've always thought that whenever I go to Germany, I'm going to want to know where the town hall is. Aren't you? Now, I'm trying to find colours. Pink. This is a lighter pink, 329. tempted to do this with it rather than that. I can't really remember what I've used and what I haven't used. I think I'm going to do this big one, so we better bring it into shot for you so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. The centre doesn't look like it should be the same, but that's how I'm going to do it. It's going to look the same as the other one, isn't it? It's such a similar colour. Oh well. Yeah, some of the words stick in your mind more than others. Le professeur sur la table. That one always stuck in my head. Because he stood on the table and hit his head on the light. So it was quite funny. And but I can't really remember anything very useful. But as I say, language is just not my thing. I just couldn't memorise things very well. Vocab tests I wouldn't do particularly well. We would have to go away and learn. I would always try. I think sometimes teachers thought I didn't try because I didn't do very well, but I did try. It was interesting. My sister was looking back at her old school reports and I was looking back at mine, because my sister is having a test for autism soon, because she's got a son that has autism, a son that has ADHD and autism. She has a daughter with autism as well. Her other daughter doesn't. Her husband's got autism as well. But because her daughters have a different father, she's wondering whether the autism gene comes from her. Of course, it's not always genetic and things like that. I don't think. I think, you know, they're not... The research that I've seen doesn't seem 100% sure of the cause. But anyway, no matter. So she was also... we were bullied at school, and she thinks it might be to do with that. And we were always introverted and things like that. So, but she was looking back at her old school reports, and she said a lot of her reports say she was messy and disorganised. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know that was a thing for autism, but apparently it is. I didn't know. And bad handwriting, apparently. But my husband has those, but I thought they were ADHD. But there are symptoms, or I think symptoms is the right word. Traits is the right word, that overlap between the two conditions anyway, as they do with other conditions. So so it could be one of those overlapping ones. But I looked a quick back at my old school reports as well, and I only had one that said messy in my first year, and then I didn't have any others, so I didn't have that messy thing. I think I am a bit. My handwriting is appalling, but now, but then I don't practice it as much as I did then. I don't try. So that's interesting. But she's getting my parents to help out by them filling in questionnaire and having a chat with the what would you call them? Clinician, I suppose. But my parents don't think she's got it. My dad's like, she's confident, she can speak well, she's got friends, she organises fairs and things like that. He's like, I don't think she's got it, so I don't know. But obviously it's for the expert to decide. It's interesting. But I said to her, why do you want to know? Because with ADHD, which my husband has, what he liked was that he could take a pill and relieve some of the symptoms. But with autism, there's no such pill. And if you're struggling with a certain thing in your life, I firmly believe that you should have a look and see if you can find some coping mechanisms, whether or not you've been diagnosed with something. But she says that it will just help her to explain what's going on and feel better about it. But I think we're just very different. For me, having a label would make me feel really self-conscious. And I said to actually my niece, I said to her, I've always felt like maybe I'm a bit different to everyone else, and I don't want someone confirming that that's true, because it would just make me feel very horrible. And my niece kindly said to me, oh, that's a sure sign that you've got something then, if you feel like that. I was like, cheers. But I just would not feel very comfortable knowing something like that, so it's not something I want to pursue at this point in time. You know, I mean, I might change my mind. Right, I'm going to pick a 349 to just do this little bit under here, same as this one and the orange one. But she thinks it will help her come to terms with things a little bit, whereas I've already come to terms with my bullying. I feel that it helped me. I was bullied later as an adult, and I knew how to cope with it. I couldn't bully back, or, you know, stand up to the bully because she was my boss, but I could realise that it wasn't my fault, and that she was going through something, 399, which I found out later. There were a couple of things going on. One, that she was, her son she'd fallen out with her. She lived with her son and they'd fallen out, and he'd moved out and stopped talking to her. I mean, that's a horrible thing to go through. Whoever's fault it is, that's still nasty. And one day I walked past her boss's desk. I don't know why I was marching around the office, as you do. And he was laying into her, really nasty. And I thought, wow, she has that to deal with. He was lovely to me, but I don't know, he was just, and I thought, wow, so she has that from him, so that must put a lot of pressure on her for the team, you know, that she has to try and... So I was able to deal with it in that way, feel there's a reason for this, it's not personal. 316, I'm going to do the ladybird. Now I did these just blocking them in apart from this one, but here I want to put a little bit of shine on the wings. I think I'm going to try and layer up a bit more here. It's quite orangey, this colour. I think it'll be alright, like this, and then fade it a bit towards the middle of the actual wing, not the middle of the ladybird. So we're going to have a lighter bit somewhere here if I can, like that. And I'm just going to layer up more. I'm just going to sharpen it. It's easier with a sharper pencil. So I came to terms with it like that. And I also thought about the people who bullied me when I was at school, and I think, well, what was happening to them at home? Were they being bullied by parents, siblings? Was something wrong? You know, their self-esteem was low, things like that. So I don't think it can be excused, in the sense that we can't say, oh well, it's the way you cope with it, and you know, you should just deal with it, because that's not very fair. But on the other hand, I think if you can have a little bit of thought for them and why they're doing it, it takes the sort of victim mentality away from you, I think, and makes you feel like it's not your fault, it's not you, you know. I can do this little bit in here in black. I don't know what colour it should be. Sorry, that's the 399. I spoke to my son about it, and he said, no, I don't think you're right, Mum, I think that's unhealthy. And I was like, well, for me it isn't. For me it's very healthy. It's helped me to cope with a situation that at the time I found very difficult. So, you know, I think for me it's worked. 359. And when I spoke to my sister about it, she just went, no, you can't forgive them. They've done wrong. They shouldn't have happened. And I'm like, you know, it settled my head. So, you know, it worked for me. And I also think that I said to her, you know, I now like the person I've become, which is fortunate. Not everybody does, I realise that. And so I think that all of my 366 life experiences have led to that. And therefore, that was all part of it. And so it's fine. I've been through it. And I think it helped me in a way. And she said, well, I don't like who I am. And I was like, dear. She says, I wish I was more confident. I wish I hadn't gone through that. I think that had I not, I would have been a different person, a better person, you know. I was like, okay. There was nothing to say, is there then? I don't know. But of course we all have different thoughts, experiences and things like that. Now we've got another little flower in here in the background. We could get another blue in here because we've got a lot of blues. Here we go. This is a nice looking one. This is 343. I think this is another slightly purpley blue. I need to sharpen. Here we go. But so this, I think, is her way of sort of coming to terms with it, really. Have we used that? It's not the same as that. No, it's not. That's more purpley. So we'll see what happens and what they say and how it affects her life, really, whether it makes a difference. She said her husband, who was diagnosed as an adult, it really helped him come to terms with things where he felt he didn't fit in or he was different, and now he knows why. Whereas I guess for me, I don't want to feel like I was ever different, you know. So it's, yeah. I was actually reading an article about a label. Some person had been given the label of having a personality disorder, something like that. And she said it was absolutely devastating because when she 330 told people she had this, she couldn't get a job. You know, people treated her differently and things like that, and she actually ended up asking if the diagnosis could be taken away, the label. She didn't want it anymore. She wanted taken off every record, everything, so that she didn't get treated like that. So it's an interesting thing. 304. And like my son, as I've said before, he has epilepsy, but he never tells anybody. He doesn't want people to know. You know. Right. 334. I mean, we do have to tell. Like, he's a university. The university have to know, but obviously that's a private matter for his records, etc. And if he has to go and do any sort of activity outside of the university, we have to tell them so that they make sure there's a first aider who knows what they're doing, which there is within the university always. And I guess we'll have to tell the people when he's doing his work experience. He is on meds, and hopefully they're controlling it all fine. But it's just something people have to be aware of what to do and what to look out for. So but he doesn't like to, he doesn't want to tell his people, his peers, you know. Right, I'm going to do brown for the middle of this flower because we haven't used many browns, although I might do them for the butterfly. I haven't quite decided yet. 380. I'm just going to do a little bit around the edge like that and just bring it in, and then I'm going to go over it with yellow, this yellow here, which is the 309. I'm going to sharpen it. It's very blunt. Now my eyes were going funny when I had my blind shut, and I wondered if it was because it was quite dark in the room apart from under the light. Unfortunately my eyes are still going funny. I'm just actually going to put my magnifying specs on, so that didn't help. I also turned my lamp away slightly from glaring in my eyes, but that didn't help either. So where should we go now? We need to use this blue. This is 347. What I'm going to do now is actually work through the pencils I haven't used yet, rather than sort of thinking what colour. So I'm going to put this one here because it's away from any blue. So we're going to randomly find a flower that works for the colour that I grab, if that makes sense. Because I want to show you every colour as I said before, there's quite a lot of greeny type colours we haven't used. Maybe butterfly, don't know. So there's that blue, and we've got one more blue, which is 345. So we'll do this little one here, I think. Try and not put them too close together. Now it's not very Valentine's-y in the fact that all our flowers are different colours, but it is a heart, which is nice. Just shoving my pencils away. Now I have this colour. This is 331. Here maybe. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze, little nose. But my husband found his diagnosis of ADHD to be very useful, despite the fact that he really was very against labels and said he hated them and things like that. But the fact that 333, he was able to find some medication that helped him was why he thought it was a good thing in the end, you know. But it was basically one of our sons that said to him, "Dad, you've got all the symptoms of this." He's got a friend with it. He said, "You know, that's your problem, you need to be tested," type thing. So that was that really. Yeah, as I say, and he's quite happy to tell people. I think he feels that it might help to explain his behaviour somehow. He tries to get his boss to understand that because of it he can't multitask. There's various things he struggles with. This is 327. Got a lot of pinks and reds left over. It's going to be very... Maybe you do one of these. I know it's a bit odd that... Okay. Oh, you can't see. Sorry. There we go. I know it's a bit odd that I'm colouring a petal in a colour that we don't have a plant of, but I've just got so many colours left that I need to sort of use them. This is very pretty. I like this. It's like a carmine, isn't it, I think. We've got loads of greens and blues here. Here's this blue, 360. It's like a bluey green. I use it in this one. There we go. A bit darker at the bottom. What am I going to use? I think I have two. What have we got left? We have got a white. I'm not going to use that. This is the 389. I'm going to use this for a flower centre. I think this one. I was using this the other day. I used it for a colour of a cup of tea. It was a bit insipid. Right, I've got loads of greens and one brown, some browns. Oh, let's use this. Oh. This is 392. It's like a reddish brown. It might work for one of these flowers. Yeah. But I think her children having diagnoses has helped them a little bit in that they can get extra time in exams and things like that. And my father-in-law was saying that he was reading in the paper the other day that the reason so many people have been diagnosed with all these things lately is because their parents want them to have extra time in exams, so they're sort of almost pretending they've got it and they haven't. I don't know what to say about that. To be honest, I know nothing about that. I've never experienced that. I just don't know whether... I don't know anyone who would be capable of doing that. Let's put it that way. So it seems a little bit far-fetched in my head. 361. But anyway. Oh, it's another blue. I thought this was green. I suppose it's somewhere in, it's a turquoisey colour, isn't it? It's lovely. It's like a more intense colour of that. Right, where are we going now? I've just realised we've got some greys that we haven't used as well. I'm not going to worry about those at the moment. Greens and browns. I'm going to use the greens and browns for the butterfly. Let's go there. 376. So the head here, top bit of the body and the bottom bit of the body, and that mid bit I'm going to use with this one. 378. Oh, sorry, it's all. I should really put that in the middle and then it won't go so blurred. Sorry about that. Greens. 357. I'm going to use that for this bit here. Goodness, I'm very thirsty. What time is it? Oh, it's 11:10. Be lunchtime before I know it. 363. I've got to go out. Got to go and get some top up grocery shop. But my shopping list has run out. The pad, you know, that I keep on the fridge. So I rely on my brain to remember what shopping I need. That's always a worry, isn't it? 362. I shall write a list on a scrap of paper. Now we have this 365. I think this is going to be quite a lot darker. Oh, it's okay. Okay, now where are we? We've got one. We've used every colour now, apart from the greys. And we've got 2 flowers left. Well, the centres. I'm just going to grab a yellow and do the centre of 309. Do this one. I feel like this needs to be orange, so I'm just going to grab an orange to do this one. This is number 314, just to balance it out a little bit, colour wise. I don't know what's going on under here, there's a few dots. I've also decided, rather than using metallic pens for these dots on the outside, I should use the metallic pencils from this set. Now, I did, in the first video of the series, I was blaring on about pencils and budget pencils and all that sort of thing. Something I completely failed to mention was that when you buy a budget pencil set, 307, you can't buy replacements for ones that run out. So that can be a bit of a, I'm going to do that one as well, a bit of a nuisance. So if you want to be able to buy replacements, I'm just going to grab the greys, which I haven't used yet. Here's the darkest, 397. I'm going to use it. Oh, hang on. Some way, this bit here. So I'm just going to use every grey so that you can just see them. This one is 396. Yes, you can't replace the individual pencils in cheap sets, and that can be a bit annoying. 395, because if you've got one favourite pencil, you'll want to use it all the time. Fair enough. And you'll end up running it out. I'm going to use this 398, which is the prettiest colour, whoops, to do all the dots. Luckily it didn't draw on the page. I actually just finished a page where I accidentally drew on the background by doing something like that, you know, just dropping a pen, a pink Bic biro. Whoops. Right, so I'm going to do all the dots around the edge with this. I could vary the colour because we do have a selection of metallics, but I'm just going to use this one. If you don't have a metallic pencil in the set you're using, or you're using polychromos, use the silver. I think the silver might actually be prettier, but I just wanted to show you this colour because I think this colour is a favourite of a lot of people, and so I just wanted to show it to you. And I could have done a few different colours, but I decided to just stick with this one. Now I am also thinking a little bit about, we've got gaps between our flowers in our background here, whether I should do anything there or not. I could use my silver or gold to put in a bit of a background, or just leave it. I will have a look in a minute and make a decision. A word. Apparently I can't speak it. This was quite useful to be able to speak when you're trying to narrate a video, I found anyway. Yeah, I think I am going to grab that silver. It might not show up hugely. This called, it's number 348, but I'm just going to fill in any gaps. So I'm not going to like go there, but just where there's a gap like this, I'm going to fill it in silver. It'll take a little while, and I'm bound to miss a few because that's me. I'll also notice then if there's any, I think down here, there's a line there. So I think that's supposed to be like a stem, so I need to colour that in. And let's just do that bit. You can see it's a bit scratchy, this one, but never mind. I'm going to do that line in the green. Let's just grab this one. This is the 366. And I know I'm a bit far away now for you to see, but I'm sure that's a little line there. Let's go back to this. I'm going to sharpen it. Okay, so where have we got to down here? I suppose that could be a leaf. I don't know what that line there is supposed to be. I'm just going to colour over it. And just move round and through, just filling in all the little gaps. Just trying to colour over and over a little bit to make it a little bit more visible. My boiler is making a lot of noise. It's quite cold today. Not freezing. My son was like, I don't want to wear a coat. It's annoying. It's cold. Only he can decide. He wears a Mac, always, if he's not wearing a coat. Unless it's boiling, and then he has it in the pocket of his bag, just in case. But he doesn't always want to wear a thick warm coat. You get too stuffy and hot. Oh, what's going on here? There's a line there, and then there's some dots. Just going to do this bit up here. I've just noticed. What are those dots on that line? Maybe that line's green. I'll grab a green. 363. Maybe I need to put that in there. What are these dots here? I'm getting my silver back. 348. I'm going to fill in that bit and this bit and this bit, and I think I might just do this bit here. I might just do those dots and things in a darker blue, maybe. Let's use this 343. I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want it to show up like I've, there we go. Maybe it can't be part of that, it's too far away. Oh, I've missed one there. How many of you noticed? Brownie points if you did. There we go. Now, I am happy with that as a finished item. You might want to go in there with your white pen and put some dots of white, which does make things look prettier. But, oh, I just missed a bit there. I just took my specs off and then I could see it. I think they're supposed to be pink though, not silver. Which pink did I use? Was it this one? It is now. I don't think it was, but there we go. Anyways, so as I say, I'm happy with it as it is. You could do, like, if you want to do a bit of a background, you could draw some hearts or use a heart stencil, just put a few hearts around, it'd be quite pretty. Although we've got these petals, it might look a little weird with those, I don't know. I would be, if I had a heart stencil, I might be tempted to do a background and leave the hearts white, you know, that sort of thing maybe, I don't know. But as I say, I'm just going to leave it there. So thank you for watching. Hope that you have a super day and happy colouring.